Hello, and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Liverpool transfer latest as Arne Slot confirms deal agreed and medical taking place. Liverpool have agreed a deal worth an initial $26 million with Parma to sign Giovanni Leone. The Reds have beat Italian giants and fellow Premier League clubs to the central defender. Leone, 18, will now have a medical on Merseyside before becoming the club's 9th signing of this summer transfer window. As reported by the Echo earlier this week, it is understood that the Italy Under-19 international will be part of Arne Slot's first-team squad this season. The Reds have, however, missed the Premier League's deadline to register him in their squad for the clash with Bournemouth, which passed at 12 p.m. on Thursday. Leone will become the first central defender Liverpool have signed in 4 years, dating back to the arrival of Ibrahima Konate. Ben Davies, Gerald Quansah, Joel Matip, Nat Phillips, and Sepp Vandenberg all left the club permanently without any replacements during that period. Therefore, the Reds' opening talks with Crystal Palace over signing Marc Guehi is no surprise. Although the clubs have yet to agree on a fee for the center-back, they want the England international to join Joe Gomez, Konate, Leone, and Virgil van Dijk as options to play in central defense. The NWA understands Guehi has been a target for much of the summer, with the Reds looking to overhaul their defensive options. Discussions have been taking place over a deal for Guehi for a fee believed to be 30 million up front with 5 million in add-ons, and the player is understood to be keen on making the move to Liverpool. Terms with Guehi himself will only be discussed once an agreement is reached. Slot surprisingly acknowledged the imminent arrival during his press conference on Thursday. He, however, stopped short of mentioning any specifics about the person in question. I can tell you that the clubs have agreed a deal, but he hasn't signed for us yet, the Liverpool head coach said. The moment when he signs for us, I can go into more detail. And the other one, Guehi, is, of course, the answer you always get from me. No, I cannot go into more detail because he is not our player, and unfortunately, he was the captain of the team that we lost against last Sunday. No, if you want to have any talks about him, you should go to Palace, to Oliver Glasner, and ask him his opinion about him. End news. Marc Guehi gets Liverpool transfer warning with 35 move causing divide. Ian Wright has urged Crystal Palace defender Marc Guehi to snub any further advances from Liverpool this summer to protect his chances of representing England in the 2026 World Cup. Despite having held discussions with the current Premier League champions, it's understood that there's a gap in valuations between the two clubs. Football can be unpredictable, and a move is still possible this month. But Palace manager Oliver Glasner is reluctant to let his Community Shield winning captain depart as the new season begins this weekend. The 25-year-old looks more likely to now leave on a free transfer next summer, should he not renew his contract, giving Liverpool the opportunity to wait and sign him without having to pay a fee. Liverpool currently have a few options at centre-back, including Virgil van Dijk, Joe Gomez, and Ibrahima Konate. However, with Gerald Quansah now at Bayer Leverkusen, Arne Slot is looking for another addition to the defense. Fortunately for the Reds, they have just finalized a $26 million deal with Italian side Parma for 18-year-old centre-back Giovanni Leone. A medical has been scheduled, potentially putting an end to any late summer move for Guehi, much to Wright's apparent satisfaction. Guehi remains on their radar, though, and could potentially be secured on a reduced fee before the transfer window closes or as a free agent next summer. Yet Premier League icon Wright believes a move this summer would be detrimental to Guehi, considering the upcoming international preparations for next year's World Cup. Speaking on the Overlap's Stick to Football podcast, the former Arsenal striker insists the 25-year-old should remain in South London for another campaign. Wright said, "If you look at someone like Guehi, Wright, why would you leave now? It's a World Cup year. You don't want to go somewhere you might not play, Because Konate's still there, isn't he? Fellow pundits Gary Neville and Roy Keane suggested that Guehi's mentality would likely focus on securing a starting position with the Reds, but Wright countered by adding, "Will he start if Konate is there? Will he start?" Liverpool icon Jamie Carragher offered his perspective, suggesting that Guehi could arrive at Anfield and challenge Konate for the starting spot, given his credentials as an international performer and Palace success story. The ex-Reds defender said, "I think the fact that Konate is injury-prone and the fact he hasn't signed as well. The longer he doesn't sign, I think the more the manager will say, if you're not committed, you're not playing." Because before, Liverpool had them two center-backs, and the lad behind him was Kwanzaa, who's left. That wasn't competition. That was just an understudy. He's Guehi, an England international. This is like, I'm going for your place. I'm fighting with you for the position. And the longer he doesn't sign. Regarding their pursuit of Guehi, Liverpool launched the opening bid with an offer reaching 35 miners. 30 miners up front, plus 5 miners in performance-related bonuses. Though no deal appears likely with the difference in valuations, and Guehi is willing to honor his current contract this season at Selhurst Park. For Leone, meanwhile, he is set to immediately join the first team, with a loan move being dismissed. Leone will join Liverpool's other major summer acquisitions, including Florian Wirtz, Jeremy Frimpong, Milos Kerkez, and Hugo Ekitike, as they prepare for the new season. Speaking to the media on Thursday, boss Slot remained tight-lipped regarding his views on Guehi, deflecting inquiries towards Palace rather than the centre-back's potential new destination. Addressing both Leone and Guehi, he said, "The clubs have agreed a deal, but he hasn't signed for us yet. The moment when he signs, for us I can go into more detail, and the other one, Guehi, is of course the answer you always get from me. No, I cannot go into more detail, because he is not our player. And unfortunately, he was the captain of the team where we lost against last Sunday. No, if you want to have any talks about him, you should go to Palace, to Oliver Glasner, and ask him his opinion about him." Third news. Liverpool fans told Alexander-Isak transfer outcome, he's going. Liverpool continues to maintain an interest in Alexander-Isak. But with Newcastle disinclined to sell, the situation currently remains deadlocked. There's every chance it stays that way, with Eddie Howe's side able to fall back on the 3 years still left to run on Isak's contract. But lingering suspicions remain that there will be more twists to come in the saga before the end of the window. After all, while Liverpool has already signed Hugo Ekitike, it has also sold Darwin Nunez and Luis Diaz, and while it feels crude to mention in the context of transfer plans, it also lost Diogo Jota in tragic circumstances. Even if Isak does prove unattainable, there's a case to be made that Liverpool will need to pivot to another target in what's left of the transfer window. Perhaps the lack of major alternative links suggests that the Reds believe a deal for the Swede may still arrive on the table. Sam Allardyce thinks that will be the case. He believes that the power remains with Isak's camp, in spite of the ample time remaining on his contract. It's a 3-year contract he's still got left, Allardyce told the Footy Accumulator's No Tippy-Tappy Football podcast in partnership with Boyle Sports. If he only had 1 year left, Liverpool wouldn't be offering what they're offering. The value of the player is not only in his football, but also in the length of his contract. If you let him get to the last year, you've wasted your time. I don't like saying it, but it's true. There's too much power on the player and the agent's side. That's what's caused all this. It's hard to follow exactly what Allardyce is getting at. The situation would indeed be very different if Isak was into the final year of his contract, but with that not being the case, the power would at least appear to lie with Newcastle. But those within the game often seem to be of the opinion that player power always wins. Harry Redknapp said much the same about Isak recently. Allardyce warned that owners are typically not brave enough to let players sit there and rot. Speaking on the same podcast, former Sheffield Wednesday coach Chris Powell went even further, declaring the transfer effectively a done deal. "I think Isak's going to Liverpool," Powell said. "For him to do that and express his desire to leave, he's going. They're not going to keep him and tell him he's in the reserves. You can't do that anymore. Those days are over. He's going to Liverpool. And if Liverpool gets him, that's it. The league is over." Of course, that would certainly represent a happy ending for Liverpool. But while this is undoubtedly interesting insight from two coaches who will have been in similar situations, it would be hasty to consider the Isak move too much of a foregone conclusion. Ultimately, neither Allardyce nor Powell have had to deal with the delicacies of prizing the best striker in the world away from a state-backed club with an apparent inability to sign its top targets. So much about this transfer saga is new territory. Liverpool has every right to hold out hope, and it would be foolish to shut any doors. But Arne Slot needs to make completely sure that he is happy with the makeup of his full squad when the window closes on September 1st, regardless of whether or not Isak is in red. News. Darwin Nunez shows true colors with Mohamed Salah response after Liverpool transfer confirmed. Former Liverpool striker Darwin Nunez has responded to Mohamed Salah's emotional farewell after his move to Al Hilal was completed last weekend. The Uruguayan officially departed the Reds on Saturday after an agreement was reached with the Saudi Pro League side to sign the Premier League winning striker. Nunez joined the list of high-profile summer exits from Anfield, following fellow South American Luis Diaz out of the door, with Kauiman Kelleher and Jarell Quansah also departing. The 26-year-old's move left Liverpool with limited options in their strike force for the Community Shield against Crystal Palace. The forward made a goal-scoring start to his career with the Saudi club during their 6-0 win over Austrian second. Division side Arau Salah, meanwhile, took to social media to express his gratitude and best wishes to the departing forward. He wrote in an Instagram post, "I consider myself lucky to have had you as a teammate and friend. You were always very real and brought so much good energy wherever you went. You made us laugh and showed heart in everything you did. You will be missed, and I wish you the best in your new club." The post received over 600,000 likes, and Nunez issued a response to his former teammate. He replied, "Brother, thank you for everything. You've been an amazing person to me since the moment I arrived at Liverpool. I'm gonna miss you." Ahead of the Premier League opener against Bournemouth on Friday, Nunez appeared to be back on Merseyside and called into the AXA training centre for a final farewell with all his teammates as they prepare to face Bournemouth. Captain Virgil van Dijk posted a landscape picture to his Instagram story showing all the players huddled and smiling with the departed forward. Thank you for watching. Like and comment. Subscribe.